Today, we're going to talk about a parasite, a tiny organism that millions of us are carrying around right now. But here's the twist, it's almost never the bad guy. This is the really fascinating story of Iodamoeba buchmi.
You know, when you hear the word parasite, what comes to mind? Probably disease, right? Something nasty that needs to be zapped. But what if I told you there's a parasite that doctors find constantly and their professional medical advice is just leave it alone?
All right, so let's get to know this strange little creature, this so-called harmless invader.
So here it is, Iodamoeba buchli. It's a single-celled amoeba, a really simple life form. And its favorite place to live is in the large intestines of humans and some other animals too. The thing is, it's found pretty much everywhere in the world, and it pops up in lab tests way more often you'd think. Okay, so for like over 100 years, the scientific community has basically put this thing in the non-pathogenic box. And all that means is it doesn't make you sick. Instead, they call it a commensal. So what on earth is a commensal?
Think of a commensal organism as like a perfectly neutral roommate. It lives with you, it gets some benefits from the arrangement, a roof over its head, in this case, inside our gut, but it doesn't hurt you and it doesn't help you. It's just there. It's just hanging out.
All right, so if it's harmless, then who cares, right? Why are we even talking about it? Well, it turns out its presence can tell us a really important story, especially when you look at it from a public health perspective, say in a country like the Netherlands.
See, in places with really high standards for sanitation, like the Netherlands, you just don't see Iodamoeba buchli very often. So when it does show up in a test, it's almost always an import case. It's found in someone who just got back from traveling somewhere they might have eaten or drunk something that was, let's just say, less than perfectly clean. And for that returning traveler, finding this little amoeba is a huge red flag. Now, not because of the amoeba itself, but because of what its presence means. It's a big flashing sign that says sanitation failure. And that tells doctors, okay, we need to start looking for the real troublemakers. The nasty bacteria or other parasites that could have hitched a ride at the same time.
Yeah, the best way to think about it is like this. Iodamoeba buchli is the harmless witness at a crime scene. It didn't do anything wrong, but the fact that it's there proves that the security was down. The gate was left wide open for some much more dangerous characters to sneak in. It's not the disease, it's the clue.
So this whole clue, not the culprit thing, leads to a really weird situation when it comes to treatment. I mean, the logic should be simple. You find a parasite, you kill it, right? Well, not this time.
And what's amazing is that the medical world is completely united on this. We're talking rock-solid consensus. You look at the Dutch guidelines, which are super focused on avoiding antibiotic resistance, and you look at the international guidelines, they all say the exact same thing. You do not treat an Iodamoeba buchli infection. Why? Because the risks of using powerful drugs, messing up your gut's healthy bacteria, they're just not worth it when there's literally no disease to treat in the first place.
But just when you think the story is all wrapped up, science does what it does best. It throws us a curveball. Because new genetic research is coming out that is totally flipping the script on how we see this supposedly simple little organism.
For decades, we were pretty confident we knew Iodamoeba buchli, but now, with the incredible power of modern genomics and DNA sequencing, we're realizing something huge. What we thought was a single organism, well, it's looking more like a whole family reunion. And the amount of genetic diversity they're finding is just wow. It's staggering. Scientists have already identified at least 2 major family lines or lineages, and their DNA can be up to 31% different from each other. I mean, 31%. That is a massive difference in genetics. So the conclusion now is that Iodamoeba buchli isn't one single species. It's what they call a species complex. The lion and tiger analogy is perfect here. They're both big cats, sure, but they are definitely not the same animal. That's the level of diversity we're finding hiding under this one name. And the plot thickens. We used to think this was pretty much a human and primate thing. But just this year, in 2024, brand new data came out showing that members of this Iodamoeba buchli family are also living in, get this, dromedaries, fallow deer, and goats. This just blows the doors wide open on a whole new set of questions. How are these things moving around? How are they evolving?
Just so you know, all the information for this explainer was compiled using a Gemini deep search. And if you're a science nerd like me and want to go even deeper, we've put a full list of all the sources in a Notebook LM document. You can find the link for that down in the description.
The story of Iodamoeba butchli is just such a great reminder that even the things we think are simple and boring, the overlooked organisms in our world, even inside our own bodies, can be holding on to some absolutely incredible secrets. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many other harmless little microbes are out there, just waiting for us to develop the right tools to finally hear their story?
Hey, if you enjoyed this little deep dive, do us a favor and subscribe to the channel for more explainers just like this one. And we really do want to hear what you think, so drop your feedback in the comment section below. Thanks so much for watching.